Alright, so in the last video we created our add experience form. So now what I want to do is I want that form to work, so we need an action for that. Okay, so we're going to create that, but let's go ahead and finish the add experience component first. So we're in the components, add credentials, add experience.js, and we're going to import the action add experience, which we haven't created yet, but we will. And that's going to be in the profile action. So // actions / profile actions. And of course, we need to add that down here after map state to props. So add experience. We're also going to add it to our prop types. Oops. Yeah, add experience. Set that to prop types.func.isRequired. All right, now this add experience, when do we want to call this? We want to call this when we submit the form, right? So let's go up to our onSubmit, which is doing nothing right now except logging submit, and we need to get the data. Okay, now the data is in the state, okay, because we're dealing with a form here. So we want to say const, I'll call it exp data, set it to an object, and we want the company, which is in this .state.company. We want the title. We want the location. We want the from to. We want current. And description. All right, so that's our object. And then we want to call this.props.addExperience. Okay, we're going to pass in the exp data, and remember we want to do a redirect, so we want to pass in this.props.history, so we have access to that in the action. And we're able to do that because we brought in with router from our React Router DOM, and then we wrapped down here, we wrapped that component with the with router. So let's save this, and we'll go and create that action. We'll get an error right now because that action doesn't exist. So we'll go to Profile Actions, and I'm going to go, let's see, the delete account, I actually want that at the bottom. So I'm going to go right above that, and we'll say Add Experience. And we're going to export const add experience. And that's going to take in exp data along with history. Okay, and we want dispatch. And then we want to make our request. So the endpoint that we want to hit is going to be a post to /API/profile/experience. API profile experience, and then we want to pass along our exp data. All right, then when we get our response, we want to just redirect if it's a healthy response, if we get, no errors. So we want to say history.push to the dashboard. All right, if there's an error, so for catch, if we get an error, we want to then dispatch the type get errors. And we want to send the payload, which will be the actual errors, which is in error.response.data. Okay, and that's it. So we'll save that. And let me just check add experience real quick. Yeah, we already brought in the errors, so that should be all set. And then up here, we're extracting errors from the state, and then we're passing any errors into the fields if there is in fact an error for that field. All right, so I think everything should be okay. That's an old error, right? Profile actions, named add experience. Let me just save this again. All right, so let's try this out. All right, now if I try to submit without entering the required fields, let's see, we're getting a 400 response, but it's not showing. Let's see, let's look at network. Let's look at our requests. All right, so we're getting the errors back here. Oh, you know what we forgot to do is the component will receive props and then update the error state. So we need to add that. Let's go above the submit and say component will receive props, takes in next props, if next props dot errors, then this dot set state errors, set it to next props dot errors. All right, so that should work now. So let's try to submit, and there we go. Good. And these are all the required fields. So let's try to add an experience. Let's see. So let's just look at the state, and then once we add it, let's see. Oh, you know what? We got logged out because the token expired. Remember, our tokens only last an hour, and you can change that if you want. What am I doing? John@gmail. Okay, so let's go to add experience. So our profile should still be filled. Good. And then once we submit this, it should add an experience to this array if everything worked out how it's supposed to. So let's say Edusoft. Job title, we'll say junior developer. Location, we'll say New York. From date, let's see, should we make this current? No, we'll just say 2016 to say January something. Job description, we'll just say worked on projects in PHP and Python. So let's submit. Okay, we got redirected. That's a good sign. And let's look down here in our state and check out experience. We have a value in here, and you can see it's all the stuff we just added. Great, that's awesome. And if we look at the diff, you'll see the inside profile, it shows the experience because that was just added. And then if we check the database, just to triple check, let's go to profiles. And if we look at experience, there it is right there. Okay, so now we can add, we're able to add an experience through our dashboard. So in the next video, we're going to do the same thing but for education. And since we already have the main layout and everything for experience, we should be able to do both the form and the request all in the same video. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. All right, so I will see you then.